Hey guys, and welcome back. Welcome. Today I am going to be discussing the Jeezy and Nia interview. I know I might be a little late, but I'm not the jump on the story quick fast type of person. I got things going on in my life, so I record when I can. But the first thing I want to discuss is love styles, right? There was a lot of women that was not feeling the whole Jeezy thing. And I get it. Like, to me, I don't think people need to feel what they don't feel. People don't need to resonate with what they don't resonate with. That's all good. However, there's a YouTuber called Little Black Book, and I saw him on Dear Future Wifey podcast talking about the kill switch. And like, I really thoroughly enjoyed watching that episode because a lot of people don't talk about people like me, people like Jeezy, people like I don't know his name. I think it's Kojo from Little Black Book that have a kill switch. That just basically means that we it's hard for us to fall in love and really like be attached, right? Like that's not, and I know a lot of women typically have anxious attachment love styles, and I have more of an, and I think GZ as well, and people like us, we have more of an avoidant or maybe dismissive attachment love style. um Now, not to get it twisted, I'm very affectionate, I'm very nurturing, so for me it doesn't play out in the way of me being like cold or distant. That's not how minds play out. Maybe it plays out like that for men. Like I'm very touchy feely. I love affection. I love to nurture. Like that's I love closeness. However, when it comes to like falling in love, I don't fall in love easily, and I can fall out of love very easily. I've been like that my entire life. I have a really funny story. Some of y'all might not find it funny, but whatever, we're not a monolith. There's so many different people with different thoughts in the world. So anyway, here it goes. I'm from New York, and y'all know I'm from Brooklyn. So me and my, we loved Little Kim growing up. So I used to watch women around me, women in my family, my brother's girlfriends. They would fall in love and, just lose their mind or just like be falling in love with these dudes that's basically not worth it. And I came up with an idea, and I told me and my best friend, let's pinky promise that we won't fall in love with the first guy that we're intimate with. So that's what we did. My bestie, she wasn't as tough as me. She did as best as she could, but she wasn't as tough as me. I don't fall in love easy. I'm not like women out here that's like, oh, I've had my heart broken so many times. Like I've had one heartbreak out of all my, relationships or situationships, and now I'm married. So I that's just how it is, because for me, I'm more of a logic and assessment person. So once you like, and I'm also really in love with integrity, right? So um women tend to love what they love. Like they love bad boys, they love charisma, they love money, they love different things. For me, if you're nice, like I love me a nerd. Listen, I love me a nice guy, I love me a nerd, I love me kindness. Let me not say nice guy. I love kind people. So I fall in love with the things that's not easy to come across, right? So you being charismatic, I'm charismatic. That's nothing. Like we can go back and forth with banter all day. I can do this from sun to dawn. Uh, so yeah. So avoidant attachment love style and the kill switch. Where Jeezy is going wrong is when you have an avoidant attachment love style, you have to love based on what you need, more so than what you want. Now, attraction, of course, is very important. So I'm not saying to love someone and not be attracted to them. What I am saying is that because we don't have an anxious attachment love style, people that are more anxiously attached, they can fall in love easily, they can stay in love easily. So um, they can love you for any reason, right? You could barely be giving them any attention, you could barely be giving them what they need, but they will still be into you. For people that have avoidant attachment love styles, you need to love more. You need to date more so based on what you need and who has uh where you're deficient. You need to date someone that can fill that deficiency. So I know for me, because I'm more avoidant, which means that I'm not clingy, I don't fall in love fast, I just, that's just not innately my thing. So I know that I had to love somebody that could balance me, that had what I needed, which was someone that has staying power, right? Someone that believes more so in staying and building, and someone that's patient, and someone that is way more in tune with love and compassion. Because for me, it's logic. So things either make sense or they don't. Either the math is mathing or it's not. That's me. But I know that I needed someone that's more in tune with love, right? Like just pure love, and wanting to be in love and wanting to stay in love, and things of that nature. So knowing what you need, and kindness. When you're an avoidant attachment person, you don't need someone uh that's like turn up, right? Somebody that is combative or somebody that's argumentative. You need somebody that's really more in tune with like kindness and love. You know what I mean? Like they're more focused on those things, and that's where they thrive. So that it helps to kind of soften you out, and it helps you to remember love, right? Because there's so many things going on in life, right? That we don't have to focus on love. We don't have to be in love. Like in Jeezy's situation, right? Where Jeezy messed up is Jeezy also reminds me of myself. Like I can't say that he loves himself, as in like really loves himself in deep love, because when you do deeply love yourself, you tend to live and do things that are healthy. But what I will say is, for lack of better terms, some people will say self-absorbed and things like that. I say that Jeezy is a person that's more so in love with himself in his journey than being in love with people, and I can identify with that. I love self-development. I love all things that's dealing with shadow work, like deep shadow work, like recognizing and realizing the things about you that are not good, like questioning everything, um yeah, and just basically everything to do with self. Like I'm a thinker, so I can be by myself. Listen, I am like, what do they say, an extrovert, introvert. I'm like that. When I'm out, social butterfly, it's all good. But listen, leave me alone. I can stay and just think and think and think and rewind things that people said, and rewind things that I did or that I said, and then process when I'm not around people. I love to process and rewind and replay things in my head. And I think Jeezy is very much like that, right? As well. So even with him getting with Jeannie Mai, that was kind of funny because she's really social. She's super into social media. He seems, especially because he's been through a lot, he seems like the type that would prefer to think. He would prefer to work. He would prefer to be around very specific people. And that's another thing with avoidant attachment love style people. We don't like random people around us, or people that we don't trust, like that. And that could be a Libra thing, if you're into astrology at all. Because I'm a Libra as well. So I got Jeezy when he was speaking. Like for me, I don't like to be around a bunch of random people. I don't even really like humans like that. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Like I like very specific people, and the list is short. Like the list is real low. And the older I get, the more I realize, like, oh, like I just don't really like humans that much. So with Jeezy, Where he's messing up is not really understanding and moving accordingly to who he is. Like why are you consistently getting in these relationships? And even worse, why are you procreating when you have such a love for self and you have such a deep love for the pursuit of success and creativity? Like for me, um I get that, wanting to create and uh wanting success and trying different things, but for Jeezy, he should know that that is his thing, right? So he's not ready to love and be loved yet, which goes into my next point. I don't know if Jeezy will ever be that in this lifetime, right? Because he's seen a lot and he's experienced a lot. And unfortunately, it goes back to, one of the things that I always think about with women that love bad boys and street guys, right? These guys have been through a lot, right? They've seen a lot, they've experienced a lot, they have a lot of trauma, they have a lot of uh, things in their mind that plays back. So them trying to actually love someone and be loved in this lifetime, it just may not happen because with Jeezy, it's a matter of not just experience but age, right? So when you are a certain way so long, it's so hard to get out of that mode of self. It gets really hard to get out of the mode of like still feeling like what can I accomplish? What can I do? What's my next thing? It kind of reminds me of like a Kanye. Like he'll never be comfortable being comfortable. He'll always want to push the envelope because the mundane or staying on a level that he is boring. He'll do it to the point where, you know, he could potentially get canceled, but that thrill is way more necessary to people with avoidant attachment love styles, or especially the street guys, or people that had a lot of traumatic experiences, mostly men. Um, so yeah, Jeezy, I think you need to really just be honest with yourself. Not that he's gonna watch this video, but I'm just saying, talking as if as if he would. Like he really needs to focus on like, listen, if you can't truly love and truly be in love, then you need to be honest about that. Like you need to be honest about that with yourself first. Like, okay, I can't I don't know how to love that in that capacity, and I don't trust people, so it's going to be even harder for me to love because trust is important too. And not saying I have a I have a very unconventional way of thinking about trust. For me, it's like I don't have to trust you for you to be trustworthy, if that makes sense. Like I strongly dislike when people say trust me or they want you to trust them. I'm like, why do I have to trust you for you to just be trustworthy or do the things that are of trust, if that makes sense? Like if I invite you to my house and um whether I think you're going to steal or not doesn't change the fact if you're going to steal or not, right? So it to me trust is like, I don't know. The women that felt sorry for Jeannie, um it's really interesting because I'm like, Jeezy has what, two, three baby, three other women that he's had children with, no marriage, right? No, but just in general, like having children with three separate women and especially not one marriage under your belt. I don't think he's ever been married. Has he ever been married? I don't think so. But even if he has, it's like he's clearly a rolling stone. And for you to not want any children. Now, if she had children already and if she was younger, I could be like, okay, whatever, she can play around with this situation, but like why would you choose him over anybody else to have a child with? Like when are women going to start taking accountability for, and I'm not going to be one of those people that's going to say choose better, because contrary to popular belief, you don't know what you choose until like when you get with someone, it's like it's like getting with a package, right? And every year you it's layers, right? To taking out the gift, right? There's this wrapping paper, there's styrofoam, there's different things, and you don't know all of what you're gonna get until time progresses. Obviously, you can try your best to vet, you can try your best to check out the person's character, but we know that that doesn't really that's not, I mean, there's guys in corporate America that's promiscuous, that's F boys. Uh, there are the nice guys or the good guys that turn out to be F boys. However, when you choose someone that has three baby mamas, and you don't have any children, I'm looking at you, sis, like what. But once again, it goes back to women loving bad boys, but then not wanting to accept what comes with that, right? Like you were married for how long with this other guy, and you decided to have a child after all this time when you didn't really want one with this guy. Like it, accountability, right? Like we have to be accountable. Women cannot just keep being victims and saying that things, this happened to me, this happened to me. And I know women hate to hear this. Y'all hate to hear this. Here's one of the things that changed my life. One day I made a vow to myself that I would never allow myself to be a victim unless someone stole from me or unless someone physically violated me. Then that's the only thing that we don't have any control over. But anything else, it's just a part of the experience. It's a part of the journey. It's a part of so for me, not being a victim simply entails no matter what happens, I look at, okay, how did I get here? What role did I play in getting here? Um, and most importantly, how can I not repeat? Yeah, most importantly, how can I not repeat this mistake? How can I not be here again? And it's a lot of people just don't really want to look within. A lot of people, especially women, like we love to be a victim. Like, I mean, could you imagine a woman walking into a relationship with a man that's shown you his proven history of not committing, of being fully capable of having children and walking away, and then you walk right behind, and then all of the women are like, oh, Jeezy this, Jeezy that. Ma'am, what? So yeah, so definitely wanted to touch on Jeannie not necessarily being a victim, even though we don't know what he said to her. Obviously, he made her feel comfortable to a certain level, where she felt like this is what they're going to do. So I'm not removing all the responsibility and blame from Jeezy, because he has the utmost responsibility to be honest um, about who he is and what his capabilities are, right? So that's really important. And that takes me into my next point when Jeezy says, reals don't cheat. Now, maybe he was pandering. I think he might have been pandering. I definitely think he might have been pandering, because I'm like, Jeezy, I'm pretty sure you've been out there in them streets cheating and doing things, not saying with Jeannie, but just in his lifetime. But it doesn't take away the truth of that statement. And here's why I say this: men, y'all really have to start being a lot more accountable and just a lot more strong in your decisions and what you want and what you don't want, what you can do and what you can't do. And what I mean by that is, uh, I wasn't sure if monogamy was for me. Uh, that's something that I questioned. That's something that I really took my time to, to work through, to think about. Um, yeah, and every guy that I dated in that, I don't want to say phase, but when I was dating, um, I told them that up front. Like I told them that up front. So I don't understand how men cannot Um, I just don't understand. I'm like, how am I graceful and feminine and I'm more of a real than you are? Like I'm straight up letting men know, uh listen, I don't know if monogamy is my primary love language. I don't know if I can be, not if I can be. I know I can be. I've never cheated on anyone. I've never been with more than one person at the same time. I'm not talking about a train. Never done that either. But I mean, like I've never slept with more than one person in the same time frame. However, for me, it was just, uh being a creative and being around a lot of creatives and being around a lot of dope people. I had a lot of male friends. We weren't smashing. I'm talking about like good, solid male friends. One of my best friends till this date is a male. Um, and it just is what it is. So for me, I'm like, oh, like just being a creative and being around, well, a former creative and being around so many different people and like just getting so many different vibes and so much good information and meeting people from different cultures with different theologies, different ideologies, and just feeling like I don't, maybe I'm too, maybe I have too many thoughts and I'm too expansive to just be in one place, right? And we all know as a woman that's not like a thing that you would want to tell men, right? Because you run the risk of being judged. And rightfully so. If a guy hears that and he thinks that you might be a thought or a hoe or whatever, he is justified in believing that. Like, I've never tried to change anyone's mind. Everyone knows that I was celibate for 7 years. So, me holding it down, like I said, everyone is not, we're not all we're not a monolith, right? And I know it's shocking when you meet people that don't fit in, like all the puzzle pieces that's supposed to fit into this box doesn't fit in this box, and it throws us off, right? So people, when people knew um that I was open to being in an open union, and then also in the same token, when people find out that I was celibate for 7 years, people, it can be shocking. It's a shock to the system because we've never met anybody like that. Like you can't be that. That's not normal. That's not common. But there's always going to be an outlier that happened to be me. So, but the point that I was trying to make is when I was dating, I let men know just like at the front at the front door. Like, listen, this is now just to be clear, because everyone has their own language and everyone has their own definition for stuff. For me, um, I've always been, when I said I wasn't sure if monogamy was for me, that also meant that I am very open and most likely will be in in a monogamous union. However, I'm not sure if that is the path for me. So it's being open to monogamy as well, naturally. And some people don't understand that. So when people, that knows me is like, oh, you're married now, like, and then people's first question is like, are you in a monogamous marriage? And I'm like, yes, I'm in a very mono union. Yeah, and like I said, people are not monoliths, and I'm cool with people not. Uh, I'm cool with me being a shock to your system. That's cool. Like I'm not here to live in your box, live according to what you deem is normal or any of those things. Like I'm cool on that. So the point I was trying to make is yes, real is don't cheat, because I just wish a lot more men would like know what you make your yeses and your no's and move with that shit. Like stand in who you are and walk on, like be 10 toes down and walk in who you are and what you like. Don't mislead people, don't lie to people. It's not necessary. Like honestly, me telling men that, and I didn't have any issues with men still wanting to pursue me seriously. And because like I said, they knew that even with me saying that, like monogamy is definitely on the table. Like I've only ever been in monogamous unions anyway. I was just saying that that's something, being in a non-monogamous union is definitely something that I'm open to because I'm such an expansive person and I love so many different things. When I say so many different things, I mean like I just love to learn about things. I love to learn about different people. I love to be around like different people and go different places. And yeah, so that's that. So yeah, real just don't cheat. So y'all need to cut it out. You guys need to stop. Um Maybe I'll move into the Nia Long portion. Um with the Nia Long portion, I want to talk about the delusion that we have as women and why are women delusional cheerleaders. Like when Nia Long said, I would just leave, like when Jeezy was like, well, what if you're trying to move in a certain direction and you're trying to do the work and the other person doesn't want to? And Nia was like, I leave. And I'm sure all the women, especially the black women, was clapping and yay, girl, yes, that's right. But it's like, ma'am, you was with Ime for a long, long, long time, right? Had that man babies and no marriage. And I'm not the marriage police at all. Like, I don't think that everybody wants the same thing, and I'm cool with that, 1000%. But um, I think it's Chloe underscore says something that's really funny and it's true. She's like, the women that say that they don't want to be married have never been proposed to. And that's something that we have to be honest about. And the other thing I was going to go into is that I am very proud that Nia Long stopped dating drug dealers and street guys. If you notice, Nia said that all she dated in high school was, was trappers and things like that. And this is where we go into absent fathers. And trust me, I'm not the father police. I don't believe the cliche that everybody is like, oh, everything that happens to a woman or happens in a woman's life is, oh, because the father wasn't there, because the father wasn't there. There's a lot of fathers in the home that are still absent. So let's be clear. But what I noticed is that I believe Nia was with Ime, somebody who seemed like he's not emotionally really available. Because how could you be with a guy? How long were they together? Like she has two kids. So they've been together a really long time. And I'm like, so you've never had a deep, vulnerable conversation like this with the guy that you have two children with and been with for like a decade? That's really interesting. But it could be because of that absence and because she was used to dating, like uh, street guys. She still is operating from that space of being with men that are void. But I do commend her for dating up and moving out of, the drug dealers. And she could have went from drug dealers to rappers, but she did stick with Ime for a while. When Nia talked about leaving for the children, and this is something that I will keep stressing because unfortunately the manosphere is really out here making women feel bad for um, filing for divorce or for walking away when it doesn't work when they have children. Let me tell you something, you're doing way more damage to children by having them witness toxicity. A lot of you men out there in the manosphere that's like, oh, all of these women want to do is divorce and they're destroying the children. The way that you are and why you're even on the internet and you got all this smoke for women, and especially those of you that are grown, fully grown men and single, and you got all of this smoke on the internet, most likely you was raised probably seeing toxicity, seeing your mom stay no matter what. So instead of you doing the actual work to be a great man, instead of you doing the work to like just really elevate yourself, instead of you doing the work to really find a woman that's equally yoked, like it's millions of people in America. You can't say that you can't find a good woman. Like that's not going to cut it. Like let's just be for real. You just want someone that is going to stay and deal with the nonsense, probably like your mom did, probably like your grandmother did, opposed to saying, well, let me change, let me glow up, let me be better. Yeah, so not staying, and not that I am promoting for families to break up or for people to easily get divorces, but it's way more detrimental to the children to have to unlearn toxicity, toxic habits, toxic behaviors, things that they've seen, things that they heard, things that they feel when they have toxic parents, than for you guys to co parent cordially separately. But people don't want to do the work, even including women. There's some women that no matter what, they're like, oh, we're not separating, we're staying together. Man had cheated on you 7 times or hitting you or whatever it is that he's doing. And you are forcing the relationships to stay together because you probably saw that somewhere. So now you're trying to mimic that even to your detriment. And that's really not good. Like it's not good. The children will be fine. Like I always say, the children probably cannot wait until y'all separate because you probably driving them crazy. They probably have a lot of trauma from being stuck in that house. They probably hate one or two of you guys, and you'll find that out at some point as well. Or maybe you won't, but then you'll see your children in bad relationships, and you'll be like, "Oh, what's wrong with my child? Why are they in these toxic situations?" And it's like, well, that's what you guys promoted. That's what you showed them. My last point is I hope that when people watch the genie, watch the Nia and Jeezy interview, that you guys really take some key points, really do self reflection, really do shadow work, really look at yourselves and your habits and your patterns, opposed to trauma bonding, because I realized that a lot of people love the interview because you just want to trauma bond, right? You don't want to watch it and say, okay, where can I grow? How can I grow? What can I do differently? The women want to watch it because they feel safe trauma bonding with Nia Long, like, oh, you're a baby mama too. Oh, you've never been married to, or oh, like you've had a guy cheat on you several times. You've been embarrassed by a man, and they want to trauma bond with that. And the guys want to trauma bond with Jeezy not truly doing the work before he continues to date and procreate and create broken homes, right? A lot of men want to trauma bond with the something was wrong with her. That's why I couldn't stay in this relationship. I don't know. It's really interesting to watch people trauma bond, and I think it's really important. Don't be comfortable in victimhood on both sides. There's no lottery ticket, there's no win, there's no trophy, there's no anything to being a victim. Like I don't know why people want to be a victim so bad, uh opposed to being the person that truly did the work and risen above those situations and rose above those mental chains and rose above the trauma. Like that's what I want to do. That's what I want to be. That's who I want to be around. People that are truly trying to be healthy, not sit around and feel comfortable in the bonding over trauma and not even doing the work. Now what I will say is I know there's a lot of women that's like, okay, Jeezy is what's the word? Uh Jeezy is pandering, or Jeezy is doing this for clout. And I think multiple things can be true at one time. The timing was very strategic to this book and this album. And it is what it is. However, I will say, because, and this is not me coddling or like, listen, I hold everybody accountable. Don't come here with that. I hold everybody accountable, including myself, and firstly myself. But what I will say, I recognize about Jeezy, that I recognize about myself, because I am an avoidant or dismissive person. I really see Jeezy like listening to try to understand and to try to learn himself that in a way that he hasn't done before. And but I do hope that he realizes that just because you're trying to do the work doesn't mean that you go and run into another relationship. You have some real unpacking to do, and you may not even be able to do all of the unpacking in this lifetime. So if that's the case, just be completely transparent with whoever you get with next. Like, listen, this is what I can do. This is what I can't do emotionally, mentally, spiritually. This is what I'm working on. Do you want to sign up for this? Right? That's just like it's simple. Like, men, let's really start like, damn, like y'all so masculine about everything, but y'all can't just tell the truth. Like it's just it's very odd. Like, start telling the truth. Start standing in your truth. You'll be surprised what women, I don't even want to say tolerate, but what women will be willing to uh, work through with you or stay with you um, through if you tell her the truth. Like I remember, one of my exes, like I said, the only guy that I ever loved, that there was infidelity on his end or whatever. When I say the only guy I ever loved, I'm talking about outside of my marriage. And there was an infidelity situation on his end, and I literally was like, listen, let's just take a break so that you have time and freedom to do what you need to do, explore what you need to explore, talk to other women, have the sex, do the things, whatever, whatever. I would rather us take this break and then maybe we can get back together. Um, because integrity is important to me. So if you lie, if you deceive me, it's I can't erase that, right? Even though he already did it, I was younger and I was willing to, try again because that was my first love, right? And instead of him just taking that time and saying, you know what, okay, let's do that, and then go smash, like do what you need to do. Go ahead, get it out, do your thing. I'm gonna be dating or taking time to myself or whatever it is that I need to do. But he fought tooth and nail to stay together just to do it again. So it's just kind of like at this point, like we need to be really exploring ourselves. We need to be really knowing ourselves. We need to be doing deep shadow work. I don't see a lot of people and I don't meet a lot of people that do deep shadow work. And I'm talking about deep, going all the way back and replaying things from your childhood, replaying things from your teenage years, replaying the things that you're embarrassed about, processing the things that you're ashamed about, processing the wrongs that you've done to people, processing um, the things that you're still working on. Because unfortunately, a lot of us like to think we're so enlightened and we're so woke and we're so smart now. We know all of these terms, and we know we have the internet, we have the World Wide Web. And it's like, man, we are probably dumber than we ever will be because we have too many options, we have too many perspectives. Um, we don't have to sit anymore and really work through things. We don't have to sit anymore and troubleshoot. We don't have to sit anymore and think critically. So everything is just move on to the next thing. Dopamine, keep the dopamine high, keep the dopamine high, keep it going, stay on social media, go to another app, talk to another person, comment to another person. And like we really need to do the work and really figure out who we are, stand in that, and then when we meet someone, we can tell them this is what I'm capable of and this is what I'm absolutely not capable of. And even in friendships, like I do that in friendships as well. Like right from the beginning, I'm like, okay, who are you, who am I, this is what I need in a friendship, this is what I can't tolerate, let's see how it goes. Yeah, so that was my take on the Jeezy and Nia conversation that maybe some people didn't have. I would be really intrigued to know if there's other women that have an avoidant attachment love style or dismissive attachment love style. Because me, I'll dismiss you too. Like, don't, like, we don't even, and I'm not even talking about like with men. I'm probably more a dismissive attachment when it comes to friendships, because I'm like, the emotions and what are we talking about? Like, I I'm more of a intellect. Like, I like to learn about things. I like documentaries. I like information. All this emotion is like it's giving a lot for me. Like, what two plus two? What does it equal? Because I don't feeling plus feeling, or I feel or I think plus I feel plus I think. I don't know what the hell that equates to. Um, so yeah, I would be really also interested if more men would be able to identify and say that, oh, I have an avoidant attachment love style, or dismissive, or I really have some things that I need to work on before I get into another relationship. I'm really looking forward to the awakening of self awareness. Like, that is like, that to me is really, that's really attractive to me. That's really exciting to me. And when I say attractive, I mean, like, of course, when you have a partner and they're actually like doing the work, and they're doing the research with you, they're listening to the podcast and you're discussing it, or watching the videos, or reading the books. And when you meet women or men, as far as having friendships, and they're like, um really having these deep conversations about like who they are and their shortcomings and what they want to work on. And that's why I've had a lot of male friends, great male platonic friendships in my life, because I'm able to have those conversations with men and challenge them, like really challenge what they're thinking and have them really think, but in a fun way where I'm like, you say you can be faithful, but can you? Or what would it take for you to be faithful? Or when you did cheat in the past, like, what was your thought process? Like, what led up to it? What could have stopped you? Could anything have stopped you? Like, I love to dig in the mind. I love to go under the layers, under the surfaces. I like to peel it back. I like to dissect things. So yeah, man, if any other fellow avoidant attachment love style folks are out there, let me know. And my one advice for people like uh us is date based on what you need. And of course, you want them to have some of what you want in there, but it really has to be about a need, because for avoidant people, what we want, that attraction, that sexiness, that thrill, it's fleeting, especially if you're an air sign or like a Libra, Gemini's. Like, we just, So that's that, man. Thank you guys for listening. And yeah, bye, guys.